into the light, see you're fine. When you look into the light, do you know you're fine? Are you fine? When you look into my eyes, can you see you're alive? When you look into my eyes, do you know you're alive? You're alive. But they don't like people like us, they don't like us. Think it's our choice and it's our fault. And being quiet.
Right, really good to meet you because your reputation precedes you, so I wasn't quite what to expect. But let's start your latest project, People Like Us, that focuses on non-binary and non-conforming identities. Why this and why now?
We started this project in 2017, and so back then, not so long ago, but then like a lot has happened since then, but back then there didn't seem to be that much visibility for this particular demographic. So this project focuses on AFAB people, so people that were assigned female at birth, and it covers trans, non-binary and gender non-conforming identities. And it started when a friend of mine was starting to use a new name and just sort of telling me stuff about sort of early stages of their transition, and I was actually learning, and I was like, I've neglected this part of the community myself. And there just didn't there wasn't much visibility. So I don't know. And then more people started coming out over that sort of year, people that I knew that I'd not really noticed before. And so I just started chatting with people, and I didn't want to be sort of sensationalist or jumping on a bandwagon or something like that. But they were hungry for it. They were, they hadn't been looked at, asked questions and things. And so it grew. And, it started with a handful of friends that became 12. And then in 2020, we did a zine. And then it's grown and grown over the pandemic. The one and only time I ever got the time to sit down and write an Arts Council application, I actually was successful and got some funding to develop the project, and that made it more public and sort of out-facing. We did I know I've gone away from the question, but I'll come back to it.
This is so English.
Nah. So dyspraxic. I know that much. So we started doing live shoots at club events, sort of taking up space, making that visibility a sort of real living thing. I've done all sorts of things with the project, lots of talks and things like that as well. And now, finally, in 2024, it's becoming, or has become, I literally have it here. They literally landed this week. A photo book, which I always had in mind, like that's what I do. Yeah. As you know, I did a photo book with David Hoyle. Actually, we published that in 2017. So I guess
you jumped one of my questions. I was going to talk about him.
Okay, shall I skip that?
No. Go back into People Like Us.
So I always thought this could be a photo book. I feel like that's a good vehicle for my work, and a good way to get work out to more the people that it's going to benefit and things like that. Why now in 2024? So things have changed. It feels like there's a lot more visibility.
Positive visibility or negative visibility?
Oh, I was literally just coming to that. Good point. Both. I think there's a lot more people representing themselves, and so there is more authentic imagery, stories, and so on. But obviously, and it's kind of goes hand in hand with the more visibility, the more fear and things like that in the world. And we're at a time where there's a big culture war that's like weaponizing trans identities and that, and of course so we need positive representation more than ever, and also authentic humanizing work, and one of the things that I knew that I did not want to do with this project, the only thing I knew was that I didn't want the pictures to be sad faces,
Yeah.
sat by windows,
Yeah.
beautifully photographed, but so depressing. And certainly in the photography world, that's the work that gets attention. The one tokenistic image in each sort of show, it's always a sad face, and that's what people want to see. And I think that's why it's so important that we take charge of our own representation. So
even someone like you, who's out there photographing many performance artists, how much did you learn, and were you shocked by what you learned over the 6 years?
It's funny because I always say I've learned a lot, and I'm trying to think, what have I actually learned? Definitely not shocked. And I guess, I've just, like, the project's now got 58 people in it, and I've heard so many stories, and everyone's unique and different, and I've had people who have come out in their 40s and somehow discovered our project and asked to be in it. And it's like brilliant. These people, just regular people stepping, putting themselves forward. And telling me like their most sort of personal stories and things. So I can't, I'm like,
you've just said something important though. They are regular people. I mean, I spoke to you before we came on air that as part of the LGBTQ community, I'm learning a lot that I didn't know about this and how much they're welcoming. And one of the things that really worried me a lot in the beginning was if you were queer and you had to come up twice, once as a queer person and then as a transgender or whatever after, that's a lot. Not for one person to take on,
Yeah, it's not safe for a lot of people to go outside into like public spaces. You have to be monitoring yourself constantly, otherwise you're going to get a verbal abuse at best, a burger in Travis Alabanza's case thrown at you, or worse. It's real. And when I'm with my sort of trans and non-binary friends, the more gender non-conforming, let's say, you feel it, you feel attention. But I'm no stranger to that. I've always hung out with the weirdos. So I am one somewhat myself, but
that's good. So we're here in the US and we're on tenterhooks about what's going to happen. And it seems to be that community is the center point for so much hate and so much, Congress would spend a day arguing about a trans bathroom, rather than all the problems we've got in the world. Is that going to be the same now in England and throughout the world, throughout Europe as well? Anti-trans movements?
Oh yeah, I mean, we've got a prime minister that can't even say trans woman, like literally cannot get the words out, and this is Labour, for God's sake.
Yeah.
And it's not dissimilar over here. I think it's scarier in America at the moment, but no, this is like a massive thing here, and it's ridiculous, and it's history repeating itself. All this fear and confusion it's pretty much, I mean, it's different but really similar to how it was for gay people, particularly gay men 30 odd years ago. I don't understand why people haven't learned, and those people that were scared will now proudly tell you that they've got a gay cousin or a gay best friend. And maybe that's what they'll be saying about trans people in a few years' time. It's ridiculous. I don't get it.
But let's talk happy. Let's talk David Hoyle. I love David Hoyle. I was so excited to see your book. So tell me about your experience. Tell people who he is and about your experience with him.
David is a dear friend, and the original avant-garde, gender non-conforming, sort of drag artist. He's in his 60s now and still treading the boards of the Royal Vauxhall Tavern and the likes regularly. I mean, he's got a very varied career, but he's still sort of at that sort of cabaret is where he's kind of
and his spirit is so infectious. He's got such an infectious spirit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like, yeah, I mean, it is almost like a cult or something when you're in that room.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
feel swayed, you feel charged up.
yeah.
I mean, like, I stopped drinking quite a few years ago now, but like when I first met David, I was a big drinker, and that was a big part of my life. But that's the one moment I might think, oh, maybe I will fuck it and have a drink afterwards when I'm in that environment. And yeah, he just makes you feel really charged up. We made a photo book together
Yeah.
back in 2017. So that was my first photo book, and that really, that was a good point in my career. I think and David's. I couldn't believe that no one had made a book of him.
No, because I met him.
Like,
I think I met him when he made a film. I think we were at BFI. I don't know. So
no,
the book launch is December the 11th at Queer Circle.
yes.
Can we expect you're going to be with people from the book as well? What can we expect to see in here?
I think it's going to be fantastic. It's literally just sold out. I have the book in my hand now, so I can properly get excited about it. But yeah, so there's going to be at least 20 odd participants there. 10 of us are going to be doing readings from the book, including Hot Pencil Press, aka Serge, and Libro, who did a more historical piece, but very diaristic.
Yeah.
To sort of give a bit of that sort of context, because also there's this phenomenon that non-binary and even trans to an extent is something new, but it's not. And so their entries date back to the 1970s, for example. So yes, there'll be that, and I think whenever we do events, just the fact that the people in the pictures are there live.
So
they're
I
stars in their own right.
I was going to tell people to go to Outsavvy, but you say it's sold out.
Yes, it has literally just sold out.
So we're going to run after this how you can get your hands on the book. But do you know after this what's next for you?
I'm gonna press pause for a bit and reflect. I'm continuing working with people in this project.
Thank you for talking to us. Good luck with the launch and good luck with the book. And if you haven't got it, just hang on and you'll see the details. Thank you so much.
Look into the light, you see you're fine. When you look into the light, do you know you're fine? Are you fine? When you look into my eyes, can you see you're alive? When you look into my eyes, do you know you're